When we talk about diabetes, why do we refer to it as an epidemic?
Well, 10% of adults in the U.S. over the age of 20 are diabetic.
Wow.
And once you reach the age 65, that number actually jumps up to 25%. So this is affecting such a large group, within our country. And like Jordan mentioned before, a third of these people don't even know that they're a diabetic. So the real tragedy with diabetes is that, well, some people don't know that it's going on, but even those that do, they have actually been misinformed, and they've been taught that it's really not that big of a deal. If they just take the medications, everything's going to be okay. But unfortunately, diabetes is something that will ultimately rob these people of their health and their quality of life.
Interesting, and that's true. You hear about it a lot, and you hear family members or friends who may have diabetes, but maybe you don't really know what that looks like. Why can it be so devastating to your health?
Well, the real tricky part with diabetes is that it starts out so simple and so small. People are told that it's just a blood sugar issue, you can take some pills, it's going to be managed, and most of these individuals, they feel fine. They've been told that they have a disease, but they don't really understand what it's doing to them. They feel okay, but it will slowly ultimately destroy all of the major functions within the body.
Wow.
For example, one of the complications of diabetes is nerve damage or neuropathy, which can ultimately cause burning sensations and pain. It can lead to, loss of limbs. Peripheral vascular disease is another one where their blood vessels start to become destroyed, which can lead to cardiovascular disease as well. In fact, 50% of diabetics ultimately end up dying from a heart attack or a stroke.
Wow.
You also have, eye disease as well as another common one. And this is the leading cause of developing blindness in adults. So it just, slowly
really
takes them down this path of losing their health.
Yeah, and so when we talk about like treatment options in terms of medications, I know sometimes we talk about how medications don't fix these problems. What's the reality there?
Well, they're just a Band-Aid, ultimately. They will cover up the symptoms. They might make things look better for a period of time, but ultimately the underlying cause of diabetes is lifestyle.
Right.
And so the only true solution to this problem is for the patient to learn why things aren't working in their body and to start to make some positive changes to take control of that. And so with the medication approach, some of these drugs that these patients are given, they may actually make the disease worse. For example, insulin that we're looking at here, this is one of the most common hormones given to diabetics.
Yes, definitely heard that a lot.
It actually causes weight gain, which makes you more susceptible to just about every disease that you can imagine.
Right.
And so then a lot of diabetics will struggle with weight issues. Most diabetics are also put on cholesterol lowering medications like a statin or Crestor. Well, in 2012, the FDA reported that these medications actually raise blood sugar and can trigger diabetes in someone who isn't diabetic.
My goodness.
So it just turns into this really vicious cycle.
So that's why it's so important to be well informed and have all this information. So I'm curious to know, what would you tell someone listening? Like, what's the best advice you have? And I also know that you put on these great seminars.
Yeah, so the first thing that I would tell a diabetic watching is stop chasing the symptoms. Start treating the cause.
Gotcha.
And please understand that it doesn't have to be this way. With the work that we do at the Inspire Wellness Center, we've been able to see individuals like Glenn here actually get off all of their medications, finally shed that weight. When Glenn and Jody came into my office and we started working with them, over the course of the next 6 months, between the two of them, they were both able to shed over 100 pounds.
That's so incredible.